I'm Allison, and this is Dream Anyway, a podcast for those of us who feel the pull to create, even when the path isn't clear. So wherever you are in your journey, grab a coffee, get comfy, and dream anyway.
My name is Jade Leonetti, which is kind of funny to say because I just got married a year ago. So my maiden name is Porter. That's what I am, who I was for a very long time. I was adopted into the Porter family. My dad married my mother when I was 5. And I feel so lucky about that. But it's funny to get married and have a new last name, especially in the town where I grew up. So I grew up here in Spokane. I went to Ferris High School, although I started out my life in Spokane on the north side. I grew up on a street called Alice in what is now known as the Garland District. But back then it was, a pretty underprivileged side of town. All of my friends were kids that would come over and have to be immediately thrown in the shower or the bathtub. My mom would wash all of their clothes, wash their hair, and feed them. And that was the community that we had. And I didn't know that the reason I wasn't allowed to go to my friends' houses was because their parents were involved in some sort of illegal activity. Then when I was in 3rd grade, my parents decided we should move to the South Hill of Spokane so that my sister and I could attend a better school and potentially have a better path to a future. And it was interesting because it kind of did the opposite to me. We got to the South Hill in a modest house, but I had never seen some of those houses on the South Hill before. And I remember riding my bike around and feeling envy for the first time, just truly seeing the way that other people lived. I've always been a hustler. And so I would grab my friends and it was well, who are we hustling today? How can we make some money? And so we do yard sales and lemonade stands and rake leaves and mow lawns. And when I moved to the South Hill, they all had gardeners and people that did that. My friends had house cleaners or more often stay-at-home moms, which I did not have. My mother was a single mom and she went to work all day. And it was a vast contrast for me. And I do remember developing this thing, this have or have not thing. Yeah, I don't think that was the best thing for me.
Are you mad at your mother for the choices she made?
Definitely not. However, I think that the South Hill, just in general for us, it wasn't a good environment. Yeah. And even for my mother, a lot of my friends' moms were married, stay-at-home Christian women. And we didn't attend church and my mom was divorced and she was single. And they were not welcoming to her. They were not kind to her. She was young and beautiful too. They didn't like that she was empowered, that she was alone and doing things her way. Didn't like how boisterous or bold she was. We really became the underdogs. And I got into sports. I was really, really good at volleyball. I got scouted by the varsity volleyball coach at Ferris when I was in 5th grade. I loved it. I was really good at volleyball, but I was often just kind of the black sheep. And I had a volleyball coach for club. She was a Pantene Pro V model. She was probably 22 when she was coaching us. And I was a freshman in high school. She was the cool coach and she let us smoke cigarettes. And so we were at a regionals championship. We were playing the last team and we were going to win. And I thought it would be cool to show my friends that I could go smoke a cigarette in Pamela's car. And we got caught, kicked out of regionals. And I was just blacklisted in everything, every way. And it felt like they took a lot of joy in taking this child, this 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl out of sports and making her feel that she didn't belong. And it was so strange to me. And at the time, instead of saying, I'm going to move schools, I'm going to go somewhere else, I said, well, fine, watch me. You think I'm a bad girl? I'll show you a bad girl. And that's what I did. So I, sort of drank and partied my way through school and developed a deep resentment for Spokane. So after I graduated high school, I moved to Arizona. I went to Arizona State University and I studied nonprofit leadership and management there. And then after college, I moved to Los Angeles to pursue working in the film and television industry. It was a blast. I loved it. And then I moved to New York. I love to walk and I love being able to go outside and everything is at your disposal and you don't have to worry about how you're going to get there. I can't remember who said this now, but it was a famous writer that lived in New York. And she said that New York was the only place she could go to be alone. New York is also a dangerous place because everything is accessible. I am 8 years sober.
Oh, I'm 7.
Oh, no way. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yeah. So in New York, I drank a lot. I actually did end my drinking career in New York, crawling home from the bar at 3 a.m. on my hands and knees.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. And the bars don't close. Right. You can take a train. You don't have to drive. And I worked in the film and television industry there until I didn't, because I absolutely tanked my ability to work through my alcoholism. Decided I was going to get sober. I was going to get out of the industry. And I moved to Long Beach, California, and I got a job in tech at a startup and just totally switched directions. And I think that that's probably the theme of my life is the pivot. I'm able to do that. I like to do it. I welcome change. I think for some people like creatives, especially, we have a hard time kind of finding our footing or where we belong. And I think we were told differently. I think we were told that you had to find a path and you had to stick to it and you should retire from it. If you're lucky, you might get a pension and whatever. And that's not the reality of the world we live in, at least not for millennials and different generations. We're not in that world anymore. And what I found is, especially for a creative or an entrepreneur, somebody that wants to start their own thing, having these different skill sets that you've gained from these different industries really comes in handy. I had worked in film. I had worked in nonprofit. I had waited tables and bartended for years, which teaches you absolutely everything. I've had people say to me, oh, but only on my resume is, my waiting jobs, my bartending jobs. Like, do you know how many transferable skills come out of that?
So what I heard you say was you have customer service. You can tell a story.
You can multitask. You can move in a fast-paced environment. You know how to work under pressure. There's so many. And so I think that's when people are looking at themselves and, what would I do next? I haven't done anything. I've only done this. I really encourage that. Hey, but what did you learn? What's transferable and where can you go next?
And what lights you up? That's what I feel for myself. What just keeps me going?
Right, exactly. And that's okay if it changes. I follow my guidance, my inner self, and I just embrace it. The tech company I worked for had built a software for nonprofits. I bought a little house in Joshua Tree. I had happened upon the desert one cold Long Beach day. And I was like, I need warmth on these bones because I am a lizard. My first encounter with Joshua Tree was absolutely out of this world. It is so, so beautiful, so quiet, peaceful. Was still working in Long Beach and had an apartment in Long Beach. And I had asked my boss, hey, can I go remote just for the month of February? I just want to live in the desert for the month of February and I'm going to paint and work on my house and get it ready to rent out. And the pandemic hit. I absolutely adored my time out there. It was the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises I've ever seen in my life. Living independently, owning my own little cabin, a lot of DIY. It was just magical. But the pandemic also taught me to value my family. And I missed my family. I missed home. I had vowed never to return to Spokane, ever. I was getting lonely. I was super isolated in the desert and working remotely and no contact. And I was just starting to get lonely. And so I moved back in 2022 and I am in love with Spokane. There has not been a single day that's passed since I've moved home where I'm not saying to myself, I love it here at every turn. There are a lot of people that are local that are talking about certain things like the trash or our homeless population. And it does make me wonder if they've left, if they've been anywhere else, if they've experienced anything else, because this is nothing in comparison to New York or Los Angeles. Sobriety has taught me so much. I think the biggest is to let go of resentments. I can't afford them anymore. I don't have them. So I have no resentment against Spokane. I may still have some traumas that live here or live in my body around it, but I am not blaming. I don't blame the town anymore. You take accountability and you learn.
That is exactly what changed my life. Every day for a year, I woke up thinking, motherfucker, this guy, I lent $10,000, lent him my whole savings, and he never paid me back. And so I couldn't pay my taxes that year, which made me not be able to pay it the next year for sure. And then anyway, every day for a year, the first thing I thought of when I woke up was, motherfucker. And I went to see her, and I was sure she was going to
tell you you're right.
Yeah. And what she said was, did he hold a gun to your head? And she said, did you honestly know what kind of guy he was when you lent him the money? And I had to, at some point, be truthful with myself and take responsibility that I was exchanging that money in hopes of love. And taking responsibility for that freed me. Yes. And then I could take responsibility for everything that had ever happened to me, even if, I didn't perpetuate something. Exactly. And then knowing that I'm responsible for everything that happens to me in the future changed my life.
Yes.
So it wasn't through AA, but it was the act of, I can't be resentful if I'm in charge of me. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Recognizing that other people could be equally as sick. It's hard to fault people for being people. There's just so much hurt inflicted. So I just kind of try to show up.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I just turned 43 in November.
I just turned 58. My mom passed away when she was 46, and her mother passed away when she was 46. And since I was 18, irrationally, I thought I have till I'm 46. And I met my husband at 46. And so instead of my life ending, it started.
I love that you met your husband later in life too, because I did too.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to ask you about your relationship then.
Okay.
Because you have only told me about your solitary life, and your new business is the Vow Room. And so it made me think, oh, well, I need to hear how that came about. But so you found somebody. Tell me about that.
Well, so we were friends in high school.
Okay.
He was a year younger than me. He was a kind, sweet guy that I didn't really pay attention to because I was pursuing the guys that gave me no attention at all. He was just a friend. But of course, Facebook kept everyone connected. So I saw that he got hot and, I grew up into like a cute guy. And when I moved back to Spokane, I was like, like it was just a weird thought had popped into my head. Like I should see what Matt's up to. And so I did. And sure enough, he was cute and doing fun stuff. And we connected right away. It was like I had just moved back like 3 months. And I had in the back of my mind kind of decided that I wanted to find a partner and that it was time. I wanted somebody that was down to earth, maybe blue collar. I had come from that LA glamour, New York world. And I wanted somebody that was just maybe normal, just had like a normal job. We were just fast friends, had a lot in common, and fell in love. And we got married last November, and we eloped at the courthouse. I've always had a dream of eloping. We eloped at the courthouse. It was an awesome experience, except for the actual courtroom we got married in. It wasn't
stale.
Cute. Yeah, it was stale. It wasn't really pretty. The judge was phenomenal. She was wonderful. We loved it. But, it was absolutely perfect for everything that we did. But my business is an elopement venue. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit since I was a kid. I mentioned, raking leaves and mowing lawns. And that was how I bought my first Nintendo. I've always wanted to own a business, but I think especially in my drinking, I didn't see myself as an adult or somebody capable of that, but I dreamt of it. And, I feel like I'm finally in a position where I'm a grown up. I think I didn't feel my age for a very, very long time, especially because I was drinking and I was irresponsible and I couldn't hold a job and I didn't have any money. And so it took a while for me to get here, but now I feel like I'm 43. I think there's so much power in women that are aging because you see some of these older women that dress how they want and they wear their hair how they want and they're just doing what they want. And it's not because somebody wants to fuck them. And it's just a wonderful, freeing thing.
So are you in partnership with the Vow?
I am.
You have a partner, and is that a friend from?
We work together at a nonprofit. We were just bouncing ideas around. And then I was on TikTok one day and saw some videos, and I saw a video of a couple that had built an elopement venue in their like little outbuilding in their backyard.
It's such a good idea.
So cute. It was so tiny. It was just a tiny little thing. And I started thinking, I think that could work. And then also recognizing that Spokane has a mass amount of available commercial properties. Driving around downtown, there's one at almost every other building. And so I found a couple that day, text message like, hey, what about this idea? And then I love that my partner is like, yeah, yep, okay. She's a visionary. And, we're very creative together. It's just like fire. And it's really fun. And so I found our space that day. It was absolutely perfect. It even has a giant V in front of it that looks like a chapel or like an upside down V. And it was $1,300 a month. So, I mean, coming from LA and New York and these places where commercial property, especially downtown, is astronomical, almost impossible, unless you're like a Gucci store or something. I couldn't believe it. Like, how do we make this easier for people in terms of getting married and provide an option that isn't just the courthouse or like the hitching post? A lot of the times the men, when I meet these couples, because we have couples that come in and they tour the vow room and we talk to them about what their wishes are and what they're looking for. And the women want to just get married. They want to wear a beautiful dress, want a couple photos, and they just want to get married. And it's the men. I think it's really important to them to sort of show that moment to their families and their friends, and they care. Our first couple that eloped with us, they did a Halloween elopement. My partner had come up with a funny idea for a Samhain elopement, or I guess it's Samhain. And Jesse, who owns Petunia and Loomis downtown, he has all these different masks and he's a registered officiant. And so he came up with the Sinister Minister. And so this couple, they wanted to get married on Halloween by the Sinister Minister, and it was just them.
I love it.
And it was one of the most romantic things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I could still cry thinking about it. And they just really prioritize themselves.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. We have an elopement package, which is up to 4 guests, and that one's $950. So incredibly affordable when our venues start at $3,000 and much more. And then we have a tiny wedding package that is $1,500, and that's up to 12 guests. And we completely curate the entire experience from the moment that you walk in. We're not a venue where you just rent it and then you do the decor and you're going to walk through and you're going to have a wedding. It's just been the adventure of my life, owning a business. And it's been a lot of work. I work way more. That's a funny thing about entrepreneurship is you think you're going to get this autonomy and this freedom and flexibility, which I do have, right? Because I am my own boss. So if I don't want to go in at 10, I don't have to because I said I was going to be there at 10. But I do have to show up for the business.
Somebody asked me once, what's the hardest part about owning your own business? And I said, not enough work and too much work, which meant it's never not stressful. I know I've been self-employed my entire life and it is a thing, but also I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. It's freedom. Done a lot of building other people's dreams. And it did kind of start hitting me that like I have dreams and I'm capable and I can do that. And I'm going to start putting the effort into building my own and using the skills that I've collected from all of these different areas and places and putting them into work for me. And it feels really good. And then it feels really good to give back to Spokane in that way. We get to help the economy. We get to hire people eventually. I can't wait to like be paying staff. How cute and wonderful to be contributing to someone's life that way. It makes me so happy. And I am now just like out there banging my drum about opening small businesses in Spokane and trying to get people to come. And we at this time, especially I think in the country and the world, need community more than ever. And we need to provide services for each other in that small way. So we need more like corner store bodegas where we can get produce and water and community. And, we need more laundromats that are accessible and clean and provide a safe space. And there's so much opportunity for us to dig in and to invest in each other and ourselves. And I just think now is the time.
I love it. Thanks for listening. New episodes drop every Thursday.